Well, that was not pretty by any means by the Toronto Blue Jays in the finale of the four-game set against the Los Angeles Angels. They split the four-game series, and the storyline of today's game going into it was Shohei Ohtani versus Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and if you wanted to make a subline, it could have been Shohei Ohtani versus Jose Berrios of the Toronto Blue Jays. I think we can all agree Jose Berrios was not good today. I mean, he was not throwing strikes, and when he was, they were getting hit around. He definitely did not have his top quality stuff today, and it showed. I mean, the bases loaded situation, was it guy? Well, no matter what, Shohei Ohtani at third with nobody out in the first, found a way to get out of that somehow. But then the bottom half of the second inning, you get into the same type of problems, and you give a team, any golden opportunities like that, plus you're not finding the strike zone, it's a disaster waiting to happen. And we get into the specific stats of Jose Berrios a little later on. But let's talk about the game. Bottom of the second inning, Kurt Suzuki hits a sacrifice fly. Joe Adell comes in to score to make it a 1-0 game. Then Jared Walsh hits an RBI single. Shohei Ohtani and Marsh come in to score. It's 3-0. Then Goslin hits an RBI single. Fletcher comes in. It's a 4-0 game in the bottom half of the second inning with Shohei Ohtani on the other side. It's not looking good early for the Toronto Blue Jays. In the very next inning, the bottom of the third, Kurt Suzuki hits an RBI double. Jose Iglesias comes in to score, making it a 5-0 game. But then the Blue Jays try and find a way to crawl back in this a little bit. You know, you see top of the fourth inning, Teoscar Hernandez, an RBI single. Marcus Semien comes in to score, making it 5-1. All right. Then Randall Grichuk gets an RBI double off Ohtani. In comes Hernandez, and it's 5-2. The Jays are back in this. Can they string something together late? They can't. But then the bottom half of the fifth inning, Joe Adell, it's an RBI single. Iglesias comes in to score, making it a 6-2 ball game. And that's all she wrote until the top of the ninth inning, until Luis Gurriel Jr. tries to make it a little bit interesting. And it's a solo bomb as Corey Dickerson left the game with, I believe it was back tightness. So he left the game after a couple at bats. Gurriel comes in, hits the ninth inning solo bomb to make it 6-3. But that's all she wrote. With the loss, the Jays now drop to 62-52 on the year. And as I mentioned earlier, they split the four-game set against the Los Angeles Angels. It's unfortunate. However, before we get into the specific stats, the scoreboard helped us out a little bit. With Tampa winning and Oakland winning, I've come to the conclusion that the division and the first wild card spot are out of reach. That's just you're 4.5 now back of Oakland. You do play Oakland at some point, but 4.5 is tough to make up, especially a team as hot as the Oakland A's right now. It is going to be tough to catch them, and the Jays are 7.5 back of the Tampa Bay Rays. I just don't see that going anywhere. The Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays are basically fighting for one spot. I mean, it's going to be a crazy finish. If you're looking at those two other teams, the Red Sox obviously lost to the Rays 8-1 today, and what a field of dreams game we saw between the Yankees and the White Sox. The White Sox having a 7-4 lead going into the ninth inning. You watch Liam Hendricks give up two two-run bombs to Stanton and Judge, giving them the Yankees the lead in the ninth inning. But then Tim Anderson hits a two-run bomb off of Zach Britton to walk it off, and the White Sox win. So if you're a Blue Jay fan, you look at this like, well, we lost 6-3. It's unfortunate. However, you didn't lose any ground on those two teams. As much as I would have loved to take advantage of it and gain a game and pass the Yankees and be a game and a half back of the Red Sox, that did not happen today. But the next best thing did, right? You lost the game, but those other guys lost too, and everyone stays put. So there's that to take away from a game like this. Let's get to Jose Berrios. He went 4 1/3, 8 hits, 6 runs, struck out 3, and walked 4. In his previous, 2 or 3 outings, I believe they said, he walked a total of 1 guy. He clearly didn't have his stuff today. He was not finishing off his pitches well, and the walks came back to hurt him. And more often than not, they will. And they did today for Jose Berrios. Like I said, 4 1/3 of 6 earned runs. Not a Jose Berrios-esque type of outing we saw over the first 2 outings for him. But again, being a vet guy the way he is, been around the game quite a bit. He'll bounce back in his next one. I'm not too worried about him. It's just unfortunate that it happened against Ohtani in a day where the Yankees and the Red Sox both lost. Trent Thornton went 2/3 an inning, allowed a couple hits but no runs. And Kirby Snead went an inning and 2/3, allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, and got 1 strikeout. And Connor Overton got his big league debut today, and he went an inning and a third of clean ball. No hits, no walks, no Ks. So a clean job for him. The bullpen did a good job. Thornton, Snead, and Overton held the game intact at 6 runs against, but the Jays offense really didn't muster up anything off of Shohei Ohtani and the bullpen. 4 hits in the game today. Obviously, 2 of those one was the Teoscar Hernandez single, one was the Randall Grichuk double to score those runs, to knock in those runs. We had 2 hits scattered the rest of the way. Not a very good offensive performance by the Blue Jays. You were expecting something along those lines with Shohei Ohtani on the mound. It's just unfortunate that Berrios couldn't give you the top quality outing you needed against Shohei Ohtani. The Jays also struck out 9 times, so we always look at that stat and say, okay, well, how they do hits to strikeouts? Definitely disaster today. 4 hits and 9 strikeouts for the Blue Jays today. Not a pretty performance overall. But you know what, guys? We've talked about it before. These games do happen. And the fact that the Red Sox and the Yankees both lost as well, it gives me a little bit of a sigh of relief. You know, you can kind of breathe and you can kind of move on from it. We saw a couple games ago when the Jays had that absolutely abysmal performance in Game 1 of this series, in the first game of that doubleheader. And they found a way in Game 2 and yesterday to bounce back and win a couple ball games. You got to have a short memory in baseball. Not a pretty one today. You lose 6-3. Berrios wasn't great. And anybody going at, well, we give Austin Martin and Simeon Woods for this guy. Oh, another terrible trade from Shatkins or whatever that. You know you're going to hear that somewhere. You just know it. For one bad start. Then he'll go like 8 dominant innings in his next outing. People are like, oh, such a good trade. Wow, fantastic. Enough of that nonsense. Now we got to move on, Jays fans. Because, like I said, you got to have a short memory. There were some positives taken from a game like this. Your bullpen was solid. Teoscar Hernandez still continues to hit the ball extremely well, and you got help in the out-of-town scoreboard. It's just unfortunate your team couldn't get the job done today. You move on now to the Seattle Mariners, and a team that's kind of hanging on to their playoff hopes for dear life. And Robbie Ray and Chris Flexen is the pitching matchup there tomorrow night. It's a 10-10 first pitch. What's sleep? What is sleep at this point? It definitely doesn't happen when the Jays are on the West Coast. That's for damn sure. I don't know. Is it a 3 or 4 gamer? I believe it's a 3-game set in Seattle. I have no idea what the atmosphere is going to be like. We're so used to seeing Jays fans jam that stadium. Problem, borders are closed. For driving, at least, people decide to fly down and whatnot. You might see a lot of Jays fans around there. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see the atmosphere there. But more importantly, for the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow night, they need a W. They need a W to get out of the losing column, get back in the win column. No matter what those other teams do, you got to find a way to do a job. All right? Robbie Ray, Chris Flexen is the pitching matchup in Game 1 of that series against the Seattle Mariners. All right? So you know what, guys? A little bit of a shorter video, but when you lose 6-3, who the heck wants to talk about that for a long period of time? I don't. That is going to do it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video and not the game today, smack the like button to appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game. What'd you like, what'd you not like from today's ball game? Your thoughts on Jose Berrios. You think it's just a bump in the road, or is this a sign of things to come for Berrios? I think it's just a bump in the road. I don't think anybody's overlooking that. I think it's just a bump for Berrios. He'll be back on it in his next outing, no problem. That's my take on it. What are your thoughts in the comments below? Let me know. Twitter is down below for myself. Follow, send me DM, all that great stuff, guys. The Instagram link is down below as well. So follow up there if you have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys, Jays Nation, as we talked about tomorrow night. Robbie Ray, Chris Flexen is the pitching matchup in Game 1 of that series in Seattle, taking on the Mariners. Got to get back in the win column. Robbie Ray takes the hill, all right? So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and not really the game today. We'll talk to you guys then.